Hello, Guardians. It is Ebontis. It is November 4th. Zur has arrived. He is down in the Winding Cove on EDZ, up on his little cliffside. So let's see what he has this week. All right, so for your weapon of the week, we've got Prospector, and this is going to be a full auto grenade launcher. And if you hold down, you'll fire all the grenades, and then when you release, you'll detonate them all simultaneously. Grenades will stick to surfaces and set targets on fire. And then you've got the Prospector Catalyst that'll boost it up as well, but it's full auto. This is one of those, as they're going to be doing tweaks to like 26 exotic weapons coming up. If you don't own this, make sure you do, because I have a feeling this has got to get some type of rework soon, because I feel like it needs it. So hold on to this one. If you don't own it, buy it to make sure you're ready for when hopefully this thing gets buffed, because I'm sure it's overdue. For the Hunters, we have the Orpheus Rig. Provides ability energy for each target tethered by Deadfall. Mobius Quiver has an additional shot. If you don't have this as a Hunter, you should own it. It's got a 61 roll with, 8 mobility, but it does have a boost in resilience if you're taking this into PvE, which is most of the place that you're going to use this. Again, a 61 is not a great roll, but some resilience and some mobility for a PvE exotic. If you don't own it, it's a good place to start and then farm for a better stat roll. But every Hunter should own a pair of these boots. For the Titans, we've got the Doomfang Pauldrons. Void melee kills give super energy. While Shield Sentinel is active, melee kills recharge shield throw, which extends your super on its hits. Now, the problem with this one is this is a 63, but it has only got 3 in resilience. Everybody needs resilience right now for PvE situations. Way too much mobility for a Titan and not enough resilience for a Titan. And this is based around mostly super, and you've got 2 in that. So personally, while this is a 63, it could probably be a 43 and feel about the same. If you don't have it, you could experiment, but honestly, this is just not a great roll for this exotic. For the Warlocks, we've got the Crown of Tempest. Arc ability or Jolt final blows increase the recharge rate of your arc abilities. And you pair this thing with like a Volt Shot weapon, you're doing great. And it also extends the duration of your Storm Trance. So as Arc Warlocks, if you don't own this for some reason, you should own this. It's also got 20 in recovery, a decent, spread on discipline, intellect, and strength. It's only a 62, and it doesn't have a lot of resilience on it, which I would like to see for a PvE kind of exotic. But the fact that it is a Warlock-based exotic with 20 recovery, don't sleep on that. And then theoretically, if you put a cheap resilience mod in here, you'd be looking at a decent thing. You could farm for better, but for a Warlock who doesn't own one, you should buy this one as a place to start. Honestly, for the weapons this week, I can't really get on board with either one. Hawkmoon with surplus would be okay, but then you've got extended barrel, increasing range, and then this one is a little stability or decreasing stability, so just a little give and take. And then for Dead Man's Tale, you've got Outlaw, which could be okay, but you got steady rounds and full bore, basically negating each other. So I don't really love either of those, to be honest with you. For the legendary weapons, you've got Pulse Monitor and Eye of the Storm for Cold Denial. This is a high impact frame pulse rifle. I mean, you've got some range stability, handling, and then stability in range, so it's not a bad stat combo there. Automatically reloads the weapon when you're wounded. Theoretically, it's when you get down to your actual health bar and your shield is gone. And this weapon gets more accurate as your health gets lower. So theoretically, more accurate and also kind of instant reload. Theoretically, not bad. High-impact pulse rifles are in a decent place right now. They got a little bit of a nudge. Decent range, decent stats, and these two at least synergize. So not a bad one. Probably not my top pick, but again, decent pulse rifle. So if you want to mess with a high-impact one, at least these two work together, and the stats are all going in the right direction. Grid Skipper is on the other side of things. Deeper ammo reserves for a rapid-fire pulse. Again, range masterwork here. You've got corkscrew rifling and high caliber, so a nice boost to range, stability, handling, and range again. You've got heating up, so if you get that final blow, you'll increase accuracy and stability. And then high impact rounds at the bottom of the magazine. As you actually have a longer magazine, you'll deal more damage at the bottom. So not a bad one. And again, I just love Grid Skipper. So for Void Pulse Rifles, if you don't have one, I would highly recommend getting one of these because they just tend to feel good. This is one of those great feeling pulse rifles. For Ikelos SMG, you've got a decent roll, so you've got some range and range, so boosting out range on SMGs tends to be a good thing. It is only 14 zoom, some other ones are 15, but you got some handling here as well if you prefer that. Pulse Monitor, if you get hit, you get an automatic reload even if it's stowed, and then surrounded. If you're in the middle of a group of enemies, you can keep going. As an Arc SMG, it's not bad. I think there are better rolls, but this is an okay one personally. Now, Timeline's Vertex with this combination of perks, in the right hands, I feel like this thing is going to do a lot of good. So you've got range, theoretically, to push this thing out quite a bit, which they need a little bit more now. You've got slightly increased range and handling speed, or greatly increases handling with slight increase to range. So take your pick here, basically little range for little handling. But you've got firmly planted, so if you can either slide or crouch, accuracy, stability, handling while firing. It's just going to be a really tight spread on the fusion rifle. And then if you compare this thing with either stability on a void subclass, handling on an arc subclass, you're going to be able to do quite a bit, and you've got a range masterwork to push it out a little bit farther. Both range and stability are going to help, but honestly, if you can be on the right subclass and you can remember to crouch, playing with a fusion rifle like this one actually is going to work well. It's the adaptive frame, so it's a 660. Don't sleep on this one. I feel like in the right hands, especially somebody who's smart enough to either slide or crouch, depending on your playstyle in PvP, there can be some potential in this fusion rifle for definitely getting some really tight groupings. So consider this one if you missed out on some of those older God Roll fusion rifles. Hollow Words, Quick Draw, Disruption Break, that's not really too exciting. If you don't own a solar linear fusion rifle, buy this one, just because you probably should own one. It's got accelerated coils, you got no distraction, unrelenting, not amazing perks, but again, Corsair's Wrath, just there's no way to get it because it's from like 6 seasons ago. So if you don't own a solar linear fusion rifle, which is pretty much only sitting in the raid of Vow of the Disciple right now, buy this one just so you have a solar linear fusion just in case. And then finally, you got Night Watch with Outlaw multi-kill clip. Pretty decent combination with some range, and range. Outlaw and multi-kill clip, so get some kills, reload it, get your bonus damage, and it's basically stacked with range from every stat you can ask for. So it's not a bad Night Watch if you don't have a decent kinetic scout. Not a bad place to start. All right, for the Titan armor, you've got the Braytech thermal set for all of your characters. 59, no. 60 with a high mobility, no. 57, really no. And then a 63 with no resilience for a Titan. Not bad, but no. So Titans, sorry, not your week. All right, Warlocks, you've got one because 58, no. 63 with no resilience and no recovery. I just can't get on board with that much mobility, personally. A helmet, though, high intellect, 17 in recovery, 9 in resilience, so at least a step in the right direction. This is a decent piece of armor. Like, if you're like, I don't know, high recovery, some resilience, high intellect, there can definitely find a use for this one, and then you get back to a 60, skip it. Finally, for the Hunters, we've got a 61, okay roll. You've got another 61, okay roll, a 59 you can skip, and a 62 with high resilience. If you're looking for high resilience and high strength on a piece of armor, both over 20, actually with a smidge in mobility, there's actually probably a spot for that in somebody's build. Overall, everything is kind of okay. Couple pulse rifles you should probably own. Fusion rifle I could see doing well in the right hands, and an SMG that could be good. Exotics, kind of ones you should definitely own, but not god rolls, stat rolls to any stretch. And then Prospector is one of those I hope gets buffed next season because it's just been sitting on everybody's shelf gathering dust for way too long. But that is all I got for Xur. Also, Advanced GG did drop a new flavor this weekend. It's out right now. It's Tiger's Blood. It's kind of a mix of strawberry, watermelon with a hint of coconut. It's actually pretty tasty. I've already tried it. So if you guys want to check that one out, use code Ebontis at checkout. Other than that, if you're new to the channel and you want to find me other places, it's Ebontis on Twitter or Twitch. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like below, leave a comment if there's something I should have shouted out or you just want to say hello. Otherwise, hit that subscribe button, hit the alert bell. Nice way to support me for free. Have a good one, everybody. I'll see you soon.